How many hours do sales reps spend prepping for first meetings that end up going nowhere? Hello, and welcome to Expedient's AI Use Case Weekly webinar. My name is Ryan Deal, and I'm with Expedient. We are a cloud, data center, and AI company. As a sales rep, you dig through your CRM, old emails, notes, maybe a couple of LinkedIn updates, but turning all that into a clear plan that uncovers pain, qualifies the opportunity, and guides the conversation, well, that's the hard part. And it's even harder to do it consistently, especially when you have multiple sales calls a week. Miss a key question, and you risk wasting the entire sales cycle. Plus, you are not helping your clients and prospects understand value in the services you can provide. Now imagine taking everything you already know, your research, CRM data, past threats, even a quick summary, and in minutes, turning it into a meeting plan with clear objectives, pain-focused questions, and qualification criteria. That's what we're going to show you today. We'll upload a short research summary and watch AI structure it into a plan that's consistent, scalable, and ready to use. So your sales team can focus on being trusted advisors, not a document formatter.
Thanks, Ryan, and thank you to everyone joining us today. We're glad to have you here. So I'm going to be showing you an important feature within AI control, which is something that we call prompt templates. And before I do that, I think it might just be useful to give you a quick overview again of the AI control user interface. So you're looking at the main screen, and here I have a chat conversation in progress. Over on the left, this is the conversation history. This is where you can find and interact with all of your past conversations. And up here in the header bar, right here are global settings. And this is where you can manage your personal context. And personal context, this is going to be very important for today's demo. A personal context, all that is a set of instructions that you're giving to AI that tell it more about yourself, your role, your company. That really just helps inform the AI so that you can get a much higher quality response. So here is mine, and it has a lot to do about Expedient, about our services. And one thing I wanted to point out, which is going to be activated in today's demo, is this notion of rules. So I have two what I call hard rules. And rules are cool in prompt templates because you can basically preset rules and then use them throughout all of your future conversations. So I have a rule which we will be using today, which basically says to the AI, hey, if you detect that I'm trying to do any type of meeting planning or call planning, I want you, before giving me output, to think about the information that I'm giving you and then ask me at least three clarifying questions. And why this rule is important is because AI can read and interpret all of the information that you're giving it, and it can do a good job of thinking through that and seeing if there's weak spots. So it's always a great thing to ask it to ask you questions. And just to demonstrate rules really quick, this is just a simple rule I like to show, which is my Hey Apple rule, which just says, if I say Hey Apple exactly, you will reply with one eating apple example and give a serving suggestion. So just to test the Hey Apple, this is the new conversation. Hey Apple. And sure enough, the rule is activated. So that's a little bit about prompt templates. Also, in the user interface, this is where you change your conversation settings. And these are all of the models that are available. So there's quite a few models here. You will notice that there's the new Claude 4 Sonnet. There's the HIPAA compliant model. And also another great model is the Gemini 2.5 Flash, which takes an extremely large context. And then finally, new this week is the new ChatGPT 5 model. So let's go with that. So we're now going to be using ChatGPT 5. Okay, so here now we are going to be using ChatGPT 5. And then for today's demo, it's about prompt templates. So for prompt templates, think of them as pre-configured instructions that help a user build a quality prompt. And these templates can be used across your organization for any kind of repeatable or common use case. And it just works by asking the user key information and plugging it into a set of instructions. Now, my role at Expedient is an AI data platform engineer, but for today's webinar, I'm going to showcase the prompt template. So we need to imagine that I have a new role here at Expedient, where my role is a brand new sales rep. So I'm going to be using the prompt template to help me plan a meeting. Okay, so let's get started with the demo. So to access the prompt template, you want to press the prompt template icon right here to the right of the prompt window. And when you press it, you'll be presented with all of your organization's choices for prompt templates. Here you can see under role, this is how Expedient has configured it. So we have prompt templates for human resources, product development, sales, and marketing. So we are going to select sales. And then from here, we have the sales pre-qual planner. And this is the form that needs to be filled out. And this form guides the user into entering in structured information that is configured ahead of time. So for this demo, we're going to use our example company of Acme Industrials Solutions. So let me type that in. For attendees, I'm going to paste in the attendees for this meeting, right? So here that is. It's going to be Priyatel, VP of Operations, Western Division, Marcus Grant, Director of IT Infrastructure, Western Division. Then the form asks what type of meeting this is. Here for our form, we chose to have a discovery, a qualification, a product demo presentation, or a closing. So we're going to go with discovery. And then the sales methodology. And once again, we've loaded in several different sales methodologies to choose from. And we're going to go with the Sandler sales method. Now, for the purpose of the meeting, I'm going to just paste this in just to speed up some time, but I'll read it to you. And it's to learn about their Phoenix expansion challenges and see if our disaster recovery solutions might be a good fit. We want to understand what problems they're facing with growth and what their timeline looks like for making improvements. So this is the form that needs to be filled out. The next step is to press insert. And here it's taken the information that I entered and then all of the pre-configured information behind the scenes. And it has constructed a really lengthy prompt. You can see it here. This prompt will then be submitted. So it hasn't yet been submitted to the AI. And as a next step, the next thing that I want to do is I want to add in additional context. And what I mean by that is if I were a sales rep, I want to add in all of the background information that I know. This could be things like the information about the company, my own company research, what I know about them and their goals. It could be email interactions that I've had. So I'm going to paste this in here. And this is Acme information to use. So I'm going to paste that in. There's quite a bit there. And then at this point, I am going to press submit. Okay, you see the response that is coming back. And you can see too that it's saying, thank you for providing comprehensive background and objectives to ensure your pre-calling planning aligns with Expedient's approach, Sandler methodology, and use truly tailored to Acme's context. Could you please clarify the following? So here it's asking a few clarifying questions. And the reason it's doing it again is recall that in my own system prompt, I had this hard rule set up. The hard rule is right here, which, basically instructs AI, hey, if you ever detect me trying to set up any type of call planning or discovery meeting, I want you to go ahead and look at everything that I have submitted to you and then ask some qualifying questions. So here are the questions. It's given me 3 questions to answer. So business priorities and success metrics. What are the top outcomes Acme's leadership views as success in their Phoenix expansion? And there's more to that. It asks a second question around the current state of DR DC infrastructure, and the third question is about buyer roles and decision authority. So these are really good questions. I'm going to answer these questions, and then we can see what the results are. All right, so I have taken a moment to answer the 3 questions. They were really detailed questions, so I actually needed to think about them quite a bit. And I'm going now to submit my answers to the AI's clarifying questions. And now the output is what we wanted. This is the pre-call planning meeting. And it's very detailed. It's based off of the prompt templates instructions. It's based off of the additional information that I provided. And here you can see it coming back. And I'll pause just for a second for the full response, and then we'll go over it. Okay, so looking at the response for the pre-call planning document, you can see that there's quite a bit here. It provides a target company profile, but it also provides what it thinks are the pain points. And these pain points are largely drawn from the additional information that I provided. And then it has these key questions as well. This is for me, I think, the part that I like best, because questions really help you explore really what's at stake. And you can see that many of the questions are really, really quite well thought through. Some of them include, what is your biggest concern about business continuity as Phoenix goes live? And how quickly do you need to be able to fail over core systems operationally and logistically in Phoenix? So they're very detailed questions. And not only does it give you suggested questions to ask, but it also says why it matters. And then it suggests follow-up questions as well. Other information presented are action items and next steps. And this part at the bottom, I really like. So it provides agenda items and timing, and it also provides meeting objectives. And, I think what really happens when you do meet with a client to discuss things is you don't really know where that conversation will go. But I think that the value here is in preparing it. It allows you to come to that meeting and be far better prepared. So reviewing some of the things that have happened. So for the sales rep, which is me in this case, you learn to qualify prospects properly. And the template teaches you what great discovery looks like. You can easily follow a structured methodology like Sandler Sales without having to be an expert. And I think I like too that you get consistency in your approach, which helps to build confidence. And for the organization, there's also value. I think you can see how every rep, regardless of experience, produces the same quality conversations. And also your methodology, which is the Sandler Sales method in this case. So your methodology gets embedded into daily practice, not just training sessions. And I think too that meeting quality goes up across the board and deal quality improves. And that's it. That's the Expedient AI control prompt template. I want to thank you for giving me the time to show you this tool. And Ryan, back to you.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much. That was very insightful. And I think it gives just a good example of ways that AI can help your sales team be prepared and ready to work with their clients and prospective clients. So really thank you. That was great. So also wanted to do a quick introduction. We've got Tom Cooper joining us well with Jeff. Tom is the lead of our AI platform for Expedient and the main developer of Expedient AI Control. So now is a great time to put in any questions you may have had from the webinar, anything, and we could go ahead and answer those now. So the first question we have, I am just, all right. How do I know that AI isn't just making things up when building a meeting plan?
Yeah, it's a unique question, right? So generally, AI is pulling from its trained data set. So it does have the perplexity to be able to make up an answer as time has gone by from GPT, 2 versions to now. It's much, much better at not making up things when you ask it questions. But the real way to control that overall is through the context. So as you kind of saw in the video, as you build out the context of a prompt, to make that prompt more interactive and give it more context and understanding, it will always default to pulling from the context before pulling from its own training or making something up.
Okay. No, that's great because the data, you want honest answers that are accurate. So that's very helpful. So as far as the prompt templates go, how hard is it to use the prompt templates with AI control?
I mean, the prompt templates are incredibly simple. Once we've built a prompt template, or somebody at the company has built a prompt template, it's as easy as filling out a couple of forms, and then submitting it. The only real complexity comes down to, in your conversation or in your system prompt, how much information do you want to give it about yourself so that you get the combination of both the prompt generation and your own content built into one answer.
Okay, and then another question along the prompt templates is how might a prompt template change the consistency of discovery across a sales org?
So again, it's a unique question. Really what ends up happening is as you're putting more and more information in, as you're growing the context, if you connect prompt templates to global data, what you're really doing is unifying the most successful approach for sales. It's why it really mirrors the sales approach of Sandler or Challenger very well, because there's structure already built into those methodologies. So as you inject more and more data into your context and then build those prompts better and better, the entire organization becomes better at approaching sales, which is the overall goal of at least any sales manager I've ever talked to.
Yeah,
Yeah, and one
absolutely.
thing I wanted to add to that too is that when you apply custom information. So you saw in the demo how I pasted in additional information about Acme Industrial. You're changing that AI's response from a general response to very, very specific things. It's acting more on the information that you give it. And really with working with AI, the real work and magic is always assembling the data that you need and then giving it to it. Don't just, because if you're not, you're just relying upon its training and you're getting back a general or a generic answer rather than a specific answer.
No, absolutely. So one thing that AI does, create obviously is it's helping your reps be more productive. So with you guys in creating this platform and through the demo, where do most reps lose time in their call prep? Is it the research, the structuring notes, or just deciding what to ask? And how can AI help make their meetings more prepared and have a great outcome?
I mean, there's typically a process that's heavy to research in every phase of getting ready to approach an opportunity, whether that's the pre-call plan, the research phase, qualification phases. But being able to use something as wide and as effective as AI to really draw down those times from, let's say, 2 or 3 hours of research to 10 or 15 minutes just by pure calculation of how many hours are in the day. If you have a rep, if you've got a backlog of opportunities and you have a rep who's efficient in using AI, the amount of opportunities that they can touch with high quality opportunity and high quality understanding as they prepare for getting into calls. I mean, it's impossible to put a number on it, but are you talking? Oh, it's easy to imagine it's 50% more efficient. Right? It makes you twice as efficient by having AI, and that's just as you're starting. Where I would say an AI expert is 75% more efficient using AI than having to do those tasks manually.
Absolutely, I would totally agree. I mean, it helps you get started. It's also whenever you do like an important presentation or prepare, you like to bounce things off someone. AI gives you the ability to do so, and it does so very seamlessly. So, no, I would 100% agree. So we have another question: is the info provided by the rep, is that inserted into your CRM?
So there's a today version of our app, and then there's a tomorrow version of our app. Everybody loves the tomorrow version. The today version is one directional. You're pulling data in. You want to connect and bring data in from repositories. You want to put some of your data into context to get a better answer from the response. As we look towards the end of Q4, early Q1, as we release our workflow tool, that's really where you can take this to the next level and have bidirectional communication with your CRM, whether that's, upserting records into Salesforce and opportunity records, call records, the advance of research. It really gives you the ability to use a single place, no matter which one of the external tools you're using, Zoom info, your CRM, the web for research. You'll have a single workflow that you can build in which will pull that data in, follow you through your process, wait for you to checkbox that things are done and deliver those results back to your CRM. Those are just around the corner, and it's really the place where the industry is moving to today.
Perfect. Well, Tom, our next question actually comes with a bit of a compliment for you as well, because they're very impressed with the platform. And they're wondering, is this available on Expedient's platform? Can the user employ different AI platforms? And then also, if you could just kind of remind them what the product is called.
Yeah. AI Controller our suite of products, much like our other control suites throughout the Expedient offering. The Secure AI Gateway, which is the chat client you're seeing right now, is available as an Expedient product. It's built by us, and it currently has access to over 20 of the top models. And that's including models from OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, Meta, Perplexity, so all of the largest flagship vendors.
Okay, perfect. And for those who haven't placed a question yet, please, we do have some more time, so feel free to put a question in, and we're happy to have our experts answer. We did have one other question. What happens if AI gives me a question that feels awkward or doesn't match my style of talking or writing?
I mean, there's always a couple of ways to approach this. First, it is just add more context, right? The more context you give AI about how you speak, you could think of a writer giving example posts to show how they write. You can think of giving AI example content that makes sense to you. So the more you shape the content around asking it a question, the better results you're going to get. And you have full control over that. It can be as simple as, my name is Thomas Cooper, I'm head of AI product, or it could be, I'm head of AI product at Expedient. Here's the plethora of what Expedient does. Here's the breadth of each tool. Here are the features and the benefits. Here's how I speak. Here's how I interact with my customers. Here's what I think is most important. And then you'll start seeing those results come back much closer to the way you would write something rather than it just being something that sounds good that AI wrote.
Sure. No, and then as far as like the AI call prompt, when your sales team is putting in the different inputs, and they don't have an output they like, how hard is it to adjust and maybe get something that comes out that reads more like them or is more helpful in a meeting?
I mean, the easiest way to do that is just the process is so simple to just modify it and run it again. But as with every other kind of AI response, you also have the option, just as the results come, to just live have AI shape those results. Some really good examples of that would be, if AI is referring to a portion of the company, like we do DRAS or we do backup, and it's making a pitch for backup, it's very easy while in the context window, you've already gotten the response back to just say, I'd rather you focus much more on DR, or rather this message focus much more on AI, or lead with AI and then come into DR. And even through the first results you'll get, AI is incredibly good at quickly spitting out a new version that matches what your intent was.
No, that's great. And just a reminder, we do have a couple more minutes. If anyone has a question, please don't hesitate to put it in there, and we could have Tom and Jeff answer that. Tom, just any other thing about the platform that Jeff went through, and just from your experience in building out this, what was kind of the key use case that you really wanted your sales reps to kind of have?
Yeah, so this comes all the way down from our CEO. For those who don't know, the CEO of Expedient is Brian Smith. He was the first salesperson hired here. So he's been here for 25 years. He's one of the most effective AI users I know, one of the strongest sales professionals I've ever met. And he had a path that he took with Sandler to approach all new conversations, even as a CEO. So the challenge was, how can we take the knowledge and the effort that he puts into every single meeting and make that easy for a salesperson to put that much effort into every one of their opportunities, no matter how they rank them. So that way you're not playing games of how much prep you put in based on the value of the company. So we really modeled it after that. And the goal was, you didn't need to have to know AI and prompt engineering to get the value from the tool, because it's easy for those of us in AI to understand prompt engineering. That's harder to train to a whole sales staff of 40, 80 people, extended sales staff. So those were really the goals. Take what a master at sales can do and make somebody who doesn't know AI at all be able to do it. And funnily enough, it feels like that's exactly what we accomplished.
Sure. No, absolutely. And I think what it gives you, it's a better experience for your employees and also for your clients and prospective clients, because they have a prepared individual that they're speaking to about a service or option or object that they may want to purchase. So I think it's fantastic. Jeff, Tom, really appreciate everything that you covered today. Just to remind everyone, this is a weekly webinar. So we'll be doing different use cases for AI, because we know at the foundation of AI, you need to understand how it can actually be used to bring value back to your company. So next week, we'll be meeting together on Thursday, that's the 28th at 12:30 p.m., and we will now be covering how AI can assist legal. So we look forward to having you tune back in, and everyone have a great weekend. And if you have any other additional questions, please feel free to reach out.